Okay, good evening and welcome to Iyun with Benzion. Today we'll be analyzing Daf Kuf Yud Ches, Yevamos 118. The Mishnah on Kuf Yud Ches of Beis records a machlokes between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Tarfon, which the Gemara extends it to basically four different cases. There's a case of where you're Makadesh with Kesef, you're Makadesh with money. One of five ladies. We're not sure which lady. He couldn't figure out which Rebecca he was Makadosh himself to. So the halacha is that he has to give a get to all five of them, and he has to. That's machlokas. And Rabbi Akiva, does he have to pay ksuva to all of them? Because even mina erisin, we're going to learn Masach Ksuvos. Midarabban they're Masach and Ksuva mina erisin. So Ray Tarfon says no. It's dinim mamonis. It's five. It's four against, right? It's 1 to 5 possibility. She has to bring a proof if she wants to get her ksuva. So he gives one ksuva to Beis-Din, and Beis-Din figures out who's the rightful owner of the ksuva. This machlokes is similar. Is applied also to three other cases. The case of Baal, which could mean either the Gemara says at one point Bila versus the Bila Kedushin, or Bila Nisuin. Where we keep talking about the same machlokas, you're not sure which lady you're a boel for nisuin, so you have to give a ksuva to all five. Or not same machlokas, you're giving a tarfa. And also when it comes to lakach, you buy a computer, let's say you buy anything from someone, one of five sellers, you don't remember which seller you bought it from. Only one of them rightfully owe the money to, so you only have to give them money. Right? Tarfon says to one of them, you put in Beis-Din, and the sellers have to prove that it's theirs. Right? Akiva says you have to pay each one, and the fourth case is where he steals from one of five people. He doesn't know who he stole from. According to Akiva, he has to pay all five of them the entire sum back. According to Tarfa, only pay one sum, which all that he stole, and Beis-Din has to figure out who it is. So the Gemara ends up saying that the Mishnah that follows is a machlokas, the Tanakama and Shimon Elazar. Shimon Elazar says the machlokas for Yekir Tarfon is really only limited to two cases, not four cases. This is how we paskin. And we passing look at Rabbi Akiva. The two cases they argue about is a case of Baal, Kiddushe with Bia, Baal, and a case of Gezel. Only those two cases. When he stole from five people, then Rabbi Akiva says you have to give to all five people, to pay back all five people. And when you're Boel and you don't know which woman you're Boel, you have to pay the ksuva to all five ladies. That's how we pass like Rabbi Akiva in those two cases. However, if he was just Makadesh with Kesef, 1 to 5 ladies, he doesn't have to pay all five of them their ksuva. And he doesn't have to pay all five sellers, if they sold something to him, the money. He only has to pay one, like Rabbi Tarfon. And Rabbi Akiva agree in that case, according to Shimon Elazar. He only has to give it to court, the amount of money, and basically will figure out who is the rightful owner of the money. What's the explanation over here? So I'd like to say the explanation over here is the Lashon of Rabbi Akiva. He says many times, Ein zu derech matziyasim le'aveira. Now, understandably, Rabbi Tarfon's right? There's a 1 to 5 chance. Even if it's a suffix, 50% chance, you have to prove to me, if I'm the one holding onto the money, you have to prove to me I stole from you. It's one out of two people. You have to prove to me I stole it from you, right? If you want to ksuva from me, you have to prove that you were the one married to me. You need to give proof. Otherwise, when it comes to the isser of a heter, so it's a suffix, therefore you give a get to each one of them. But when it comes to, you don't lose anything by giving a get to each one of them. When it comes to the money, why do I have to give money to all five of them? They're just as, I'm not sure, they have to prove it. It's mostly mechamer al-baraya. So why does Rabbi Akiva say you have to pay all five of them? And not in the case of Kiddush, not in the case of Lakach. So I'd like to suggest like this. The Gemara does say it's kind of a knas over here. Let's take the case of Gaza, when you steal from someone. When you steal from someone, so there's a mitzvah of Heshiv Gzela. You have to return the Gzela. Now, there's two aspects of Heshiv Gzela. It's a mitzvah in the Torah. So besides the fact that I have money, it's only a 20% chance I owe each person. So I'm mostly Michal Raya. So Rekiva would admit, you're right. Technically, I don't have to pay all five of them. Midei Aveira, because of the Isser of a heter, I do have to pay all five of them. Why? Again, you go after Rove, 20% chance, right? Each one. The idea is, like I said before, the Torah believes in Murphy's Law. And therefore, even though it's only a 20% chance, like the Gemara says in Maseches Chulin and Maseches Ksuvos, it says, we're going to learn Maseches Ksuvos, it talks about the case of 10 chanuyos, right? 9 of them are selling basar kosher and 1 selling basar nevela, And if the Isser is Kavua, right, so therefore we consider it Kamechsal Mechsa, even if it's 10% chance you did an Avera, right, we consider it a 50% chance that you did an Avera. Something like the Raisa L'Chumra, right, we consider it a 50% chance you did an Isser, and then when it's Doraisa, it's something like the Raisa L'Chumra, even though it's only on a 10% chance, because the way is when things are marked as Kavua, or like we learned about Ischazik Isura, when we have one piece of known chayla, one piece of known kosher meat. So there's chances, we assume, the Torah assumes, there's an assumption, a probability that the wrong thing probably happened. So here also we have 5 people, so for each person, in terms of the money, you have to go with mathematics, but in terms of the Isser, we assume that you did an Avera with each person. You did an Avera with each person. So therefore, when it's 1 in 10, we assume 50-50. When it's 1 in 5, right, which are better odds that you owe, right, it's 2 out of 10. 1 out of 5 is the same thing as 2 out of 10. That's already more an assumption that you owe everybody money. So it's better than 50%. And you owe everybody money according to Rikiva because of Murphy's Law. And that would only apply in cases of Baal and Gazel, because in those cases you unrightfully took something. You did an Isser over there. when you are Baal and Isha, don't pay her money for the Ksuva, right? The Ksuva is really a schos, it's the right to be Baaler. Absolutely, you have to pay more for a prostitute that's a virgin, you pay more for a prostitute that's not a virgin, you pay half of the price. But you owe money for the schos bia. If you're a Makadish lady, so you didn't do anything wrong. Right? You gave her money. She didn't lose anything over here, but your bowler, she lost her virginity, or she lost her value because you're with her. Again, you owe her money for that. And the same thing when you bought from somebody, when I buy from somebody, so I gave him money to that person. So it's a fair thing. I didn't lose money when I got someone. I fairly stole from somebody. So then there's talk. Those are 2 cases where there's an Isser involved, right? There's an Isser involved because I stole from the woman her virginity. I stole her the rights for her prostitution, and I stole actual physical money from somebody. So then, because of Murphy's Law and Isser, you have to Motzi B'nei Avera, you have to pay everybody out. When it comes to the case of Kiddush Halacha, we paskin even Rabbi Kiva Moda, you don't have to pay everybody out because there's only Dinei Mamadus over here. Dinei Mamadus and Motzi Michal Raya, Dinei Avera. There's no Isser over here. Therefore, there's no Murphy's Law, and therefore you don't have to pay everybody. That would be the conclusion of today's shir. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry about it being loud, but I don't always have a place where it's quiet. See you tomorrow. Bye.